welcome back to Wild Approach. In today's video, I just wanted to talk a little bit about what we got to see in June. June was a beautiful month full of beautiful little creatures in the garden. And here's a hoverfly right here. I just think they're adorable. They're little tiny pollinators, and they kind of mimic bees or wasps, which is pretty cool. And purple coneflower started to bloom, and it was just so nice to see because purple coneflower attracts the butterflies like crazy. There's a whole little world down below the plants and all the way up the plants from the bottom to the top. I just love seeing the passion vine curl around the purple coneflower. But sometimes I try to pull it out just so it doesn't completely overtake the purple coneflower. There is a lot of purple passion vine in my garden, Passiflora incarnata, by the way. And so there's plenty of it. I don't have to worry about yanking too much of it out. I'm so glad we built this arbor. I think this arbor is going to be a much better area for the passion vine to grow on. And I think it's going to be a lot more beautiful and easier to tend to. And it's sturdier too. And this shows you our little patio area. And the passion vine flowers have already started to bloom. And it's been so fun to see. The passion vine flowers are just so gorgeous, and so is purple coneflower. And in the background you can see partridge peas starting to bloom. And we do get quite a lot of little insects on passion flower vines, but I think this might be a Japanese beetle. I'm not really sure. And then there's these little tiny critters on there as well. And of course, the elderberry shrub is just a gorgeous backdrop for all of these wildflowers. And you can never have enough lightning bugs. We've been having an abundance of lightning bugs this year, and I'm so happy about that. Sometimes I find their larvae overwintering in my garage, and so I'm like, oh, you guys like it here, huh? They definitely seem to like it here. And then the snowberry clearwing moth. Oh my gosh. They are just adorable. I just call them hummingbird moths, but I think they are technically the snowberry clearwings. And I think they host on our coral honeysuckle vine, if I'm not mistaken. But I haven't found their caterpillars or eggs yet, but I also haven't really looked very hard. They really love wild bergamot, which is native, which is Monarda fistulosa, but they also love the non-native Verbena bonariensis. And the hawks. We see hawks all the time. Hawks are always watching over the garden and always making these sounds. And when their sounds ring into the air, I can't help but just stop what I'm doing and look up at the sky and just listen to them. And there was a juvenile hawk, I think, calling recently, and it sounded different than the more mature hawk, and it was just really cool to hear the different sounds. I normally can't get decent footage of hawks, and this footage isn't the best, but this is the best that I've ever done, so I'm proud of it, even though it's not the greatest footage you'll ever see. And of course, we can't not mention the eastern tiger swallowtail butterfly. my personal favorite butterfly of all time, and the reason that I started this garden. One of a few reasons, but one of the main top reasons I started this garden. I wanted to create a butterfly garden, like a butterfly sanctuary type situation, but just open air in your own front or backyard, you know, that kind of thing. And it is why I started doing this. I wanted to attract these specific butterflies to my garden. So to see this one was so nice, and I actually saw multiple butterfly species in my garden over the past several weeks, and I am going to create a video that shows highlights of those butterflies. I didn't capture footage of every single one, obviously, but I am going to create a little butterfly garden montage for you guys so you can see different species and what they were using in the garden. This eastern tiger swallowtail butterfly was hooked on this specific wild bergamot plant. And if you don't know, butterflies can smell with their feet, or maybe taste with their feet, or maybe both. You might want to do some extra research on that and see the specifics. But either way, it helps them find plants with the proper amount of nectar. So if you don't know, flowers can have varying levels of nectar at any given time, depending on soil conditions, light conditions, weather conditions. So many things can go into that. And so this specific butterfly was really checking out and using this specific wild bergamot plant. And the reason this really intrigued me is because this specific plant is small than like most of my other bergamot plants. It is not only smaller than those, but it is in like a kind of out of the way area at the very front of the garden near the road. And it's not right on the road, it's inside the fence still, but it's in such an area that, you know, I can't just easily walk up to it without kind of trampling through a garden bed. It's up against the fence, and it's very skinny, narrow, and very tall. And so I just found that interesting because I have huge bergamot plants in other areas of the garden that are more accessible to me, for example, but they're also just huge, and I just assumed they would have more nectar, but apparently this one is the one. This one was the one to be at. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys. You all requested it, and it's finally here. Reduce Your Lawn shirts are now available in my brand new merch shop. Thanks so much for supporting the wildlife habitat we're creating. To support the channel, like the video, comment, and subscribe. You can also support my work by buying art from me at macylu.com. Thanks for watching!